Articulations are probably the most important layer that brings realism to the playing of virtual instruments. Back in the day, when we didn't have different articulations, you would have just a brass sound or a trumpet sound, and it would just be a recorded trumpet. But people would say, but what if the trumpet player played harder? What if he did flutter tongue or a swell? There was really no way to approach it. So it wasn't until they started bringing articulations into the mix that realism started to become, well, a realistic opportunity. So we've got a selection of different articulations here that we can use. And right here in the bottom left-hand corner is where you can see them. Now, there's a lot of different ways to activate and interact with the articulations. And with each instrument, I'm going to bring you a little bit. I don't want to go all at once because it could be a little overwhelming. So for right now, let's start with learning just where the different articulations are and how to get to them. So right now, I'm using a sustain articulation. If I want to switch to a different popular articulation that might be used, I can simply click on this button here. And it goes to a sustain forte. And as you can hear, it's not just that they made it louder. There's a brightness to it that wasn't there before. And that's something that is distinct to brass. I've got some staccato. And as you can see now, I've got a round robin indicator, letting me know that it's actually cycling through different samples of the same note or different sample sets. So if you do have to play the same note over and over, each one is a little different so that you don't get the mechanical, same sample playing over and over and over again. Now, we've got some triple tongue. A very realistic way to get multiple notes played rather than you playing them by yourself. Got some triple F, some really seriously powerful staccato notes. Great for some faster passages. So you can cycle through these. Now, when I get to some of the more esoteric ones like builds and swells, this sforzando fast, we now have a progress bar that's letting me know how far through the sample I've gotten. So you've got a quick drop and then a quick rise again. And then you've got some swells. And it should be noted that with some of these, it's going to finish the sample after you play it, even if you let go of the note. So if you look at my keyboard there, play and let go of the note, it's going to finish its cycle. This is where you can cycle through the articulations. Now, there's more articulations than that, and we'll get to that soon. And there's easier ways than clicking. But if you're just looking to set up like maybe one track of brass attack and then another track of brass sustain, you can just easily click on it and leave it there. A lot of people do that, and they like that workflow. They don't want to have one track of brass with 20 and worry about programming articulation. So if you think that programming the articulations is going to hurt your workflow, then you can easily just do multiple tracks. I mean, computers are powerful enough nowadays that there's no problem with having a staccato brass track and then a separate legato brass track. If you're going to print it, that's where it starts to get a little sticky. But if you're just scoring for making music, sometimes it's easier to do it that way than to worry about programming in the key switches. You can work the way you want to.